We are continuing our in-depth coverage of tackling homelessness in mid-Missouri. Today is National Roof Over Your Head Day, which reminds us to be thankful for basic necessities, such as a home, and also raises awareness for the housing crisis. Tonight, ABC 17's Megan Drakis is taking a look at the housing crisis and how it's affecting our community.
I got my hands on the latest numbers for the 2023 Missouri point-in-time count for Region 5, which contains most of mid-Missouri. Those numbers show 620 people are experiencing homelessness. That's up 16% from 533 people last year. Program Director of Love Columbia, Conrad Hake, says they've had over 4,400 requests for assistance this year.
About 2/3 of those have been related to housing needs in some way, shape, or form.
Love Columbia is a nonprofit which helps anyone in the Columbia community who is struggling with basic needs such as housing or food.
They kind of just picked up my slack, and I needed that.
Deshada Bradford is a mother of 5 and started receiving help with rent from Love Columbia in August.
I was on edge. I mean, of course, I try not to show those things to my kids because, you know, kids can pick up on emotions.
Habitat for Humanity recommends you spend a maximum of 30% of your gross income on housing. But it's become common for people to spend more than that.
Pandemic really impacted the housing market. Since 2020, we've seen rent prices increase at least 10% each year.
The National Low Income Housing Coalition says there are over 204,000 extremely low income renter households in Missouri, but there's only around 89,000 affordable and available rental homes.
We've been seeing a shortage of the availability of affordable housing. As a community, we really need additional units that we can match our vouchers to participants and participants to housing.
Cole tells me the city of Columbia has about 750 units, but has a wait list of around 1,200 households.
It's a pretty significant wait. Oftentimes people are in less desirable housing situations. That's why they're seeking housing from us, either homeless or couch surfing, living in a hotel, or doubled up and in a tough place.
Cole tells me in the next 3 to 5 years, the Housing Authority is hoping to add about 50 more units. In the capital city, the Jefferson City Housing Authority has 318 units. But the Center of Hope director tells me they're still feeling the effects from the 2019 Jefferson City tornado.
That tornado took over 600 units, and a majority of those were affordable housing units. And the city really hasn't rebuilt any.
Vogler said prior to the tornado, they could usually get people placed in housing, but now it's very difficult to place people in Jefferson City.
A lot of times, like when we look to place people, we start looking outside of Jeff City because the housing inventory is usually a little bit better in some of those outlying cities.
With a rise in prices due to inflation, Cole says there are a few things to keep in mind when searching for housing.
Always having a budget, knowing what you can afford, but also thinking through long-term maintenance costs of housing, and transportation costs are big things to consider.
Thanks to Megan for that. If you or someone you know needs any financial help with her housing expenses, a few resources include Love Columbia, Northeast Community Action Cooperation, Salvation Army, and the Voluntary Action Center. You can find links to these resources on our website, abc17news.com.